7-star Black Panther. Yes, we're going to be doing a video on this champion right here. So this is one of the champions you can get in the selector, and it's going to be one of these difficult ones. Look, choosing a champion from that selector is always a tough situation. I did a video on Emma Frost. I don't know if I do any videos on any of the others, because a lot of the time it's down to personal choice. But I thought it's pretty good just to see, like, you know, what the damage expectations you're looking at and how Black Panther will be. One of the biggest problems I think a lot of people have is 200 signature in a champion, and looking at the idea and notion to 200 signature in general, any of these 7 stars, because getting that done is very, very difficult. Although we'll have to see by the end of the year whether or not 7-star signature stones are coming in what prevalence, especially as Command was saying that they're going to add them to the loyalty store, which is weird. I am starting to hoard my loyalty, by the way. I do recommend everyone else do the same. But anything else to hoard? Well, incursion artifacts, but I thought we'd have some this month in this event, but we haven't got any. In any case, to the point. So, Black Panther, utilizing this champion in some content. I do want to have a look at intercepting to purify debuffs, which is important because, you know, chance to purify one debuff on one signature. It's a 14.18 second cooldown, and that's okay. Also, each bleed debuff on the opponent decreases their defense ability accuracy by 2.5%. I'm sure that will go a lot higher. So see when you go up with the levels. But look, it's all about damage. For me, looking at this champion, bleed debuff damage is going to be very important, whether or not you run deep wounds or not. On the CCP beta, which is what I have at the moment, my masteries are very much kind of associated with being suicide masteries, with a less amount in deep wounds. So a lot of this footage is going to be on level 1 deep wounds, whereas my main account has 5 in deep wounds, I want to say, because a lot of the champions I use are predominantly bleed debuff orientated, but that's something I've got to, I keep on saying, change your masteries, Richard, and then I'm like, I just don't find the time to do it, and I'm thinking like, what do I want to achieve, and other stuff as well. So we've got to get into some action. Let's get right into some gameplay. So here we are with some gameplay. So we're straight into the realm of Legends gameplay. Now, look, start off with Suicide Masteries in a moment. There we go, intercepts. Now, it depends how you want to play out the champion, whether you want to be constantly intercepting. Again, that's down to personal preference on play style. But we're just getting some good amount of damage. This is my first ever fight in a while. So I don't think I've played Black Panther in... I can't remember. I really can't remember. This I'm not saying it's a problem, but like trying to remember how all 250 champions play out. Like, I'm not getting any younger. Like, I've been playing this game since 2014, 15 type time frame, and it's like trying to remember everything is like you know, it takes a lot out of you. But in any case, back to the action. And yeah, look, rotation wise, this is probably not the best way to rotate with the champion, and I would advise anybody, deep wounds is probably the better way to go with this champion. But that's the thing, isn't it? I suppose you can build how you want to build when it comes to stuff. Suicide Masteries is great for damage input and output, sorry. And when you do stuff like your SP2s, you want to be able to do like a huge amount of damage. But the problem is, recoil is a real just nuisance. It's a nuisance because your health is just going to start depleting. And you don't want, ain't nobody want their health depleting. So, this, as I said, is probably better, even though you've got the shrugging off of, it depends on the length of the fight. If it's short burst fights, then maybe just using Black Panther with Suicide Masteries, seeing the ramp up right there, SP1-ish kind of rotation, then do an SP2 once you've got your passive precisions and cruelties up, and you're able to do stuff like that. And that's beautiful, man. That's absolutely beautiful. And the same thing when it comes to like class advantage fights or bleed vulnerabilities, which we're gonna have a look at in a minute, a little bit of Act 7 footage. But yeah, you can definitely like tell like the build up is going to be very important. The rotation is going to have to be quite, you know, severe. We need those cruelty passives built up. We're gonna build them up. So there's the SP2 21. That's close to like a 90k type special attack too. That's not too bad. And I think that the ramp up of this champion is very quick, which is nimble and very much important for this champion. So you need to be quick, you need to be nimble, and you need to be frisky like the Panther normally is. It depends how you want to rotate, as I said. 46 hits, champion done, perfect. In this particular scenario, we've got ourselves, again, same thing. I'm trying to shrug off there that poison effect, and that's the thing, isn't it? Like a higher signature version would probably be better. And I'm going very aggressive now. I want to be very aggressive. I want to get off that, hopefully SP1. No, I lose my SP1 because it got drained. So when all else happens, then just kind of be aggressive as possible. Bleed, 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 and try and kind of get in as much kind of offense as possible. And that's what I'm trying to do, is just being really kind of aggressive. Get that SP1 right off. That poison debuff's annoying, but if I can get a good intercept in, we might be able to shrug that off. But I don't want to be clapped by an SP2. And a lot of the time in MCOC, it's like hitting to block countered by special. SP1, bleed, and done. So this is bleed vulnerability path in Act 7. I can't remember what Act 7 path it is. But yeah, the melting of damage is quite important with that bleed vulnerability and interaction. And that's just it. I think this champion comes into its own. Even more so because this path does have like you get a poison debuff on you. So having that ability to shrug it off is very, very handy. And I think that's where this champion will try and excel. Good front foot damage, good bleed damage, better with deep wounds, and also that shrugging off, which is really important. Even more so, as you can see, Symbiote Supreme. You know, I'm going to get smashed by having a buff. Well, the champion has passive effects, so that's better. Yes, I will get dexterity pop up, but it's not too severe. And if I can just keep myself not dexing, the champion can deal with those particular situations, or champions that punish based on punishing, like staggering or nullifying effects. In any case, finishing everything up against that yellow jacket and doing as much damage as possible. Bleed debuffs, bleed vulnerability, beautiful damage. We love it. Okay, and that even though we get like there's purification with this champion. It depends how you want to play as champion, but yes, lots of damage. Love it. Great stuff. And that's it. So yes, 7-star Black Panther. Do I advise this as choosing as an option? I would say no. I would say largely no with going for this one. Unless you have a purpose for it. That's really it. Unless you have a purpose for it, I would say to choose something else. I did try Red Goblin. I've got to remember like how he rotates, because again, been such a long time. Emma Frost, I think, is going to be a very good defensive-based option, as well as a few others as well. But Black Panther, offensively, on the offense, like, he's good, but it isn't great. And I think that's a lot of the champions that are in that 7-star selector. They're good, but they're not great. And when I say that, that's just a personal opinion. You know, they're not your Archangels, Apocalypse, Mega Sentinels, a 7-star. 7-star Nimrod. You know, all these champions that I think a lot of the player base would have loved to have seen, but isn't quite that. But it doesn't take away from the fact it's still a good or, fun champion. With some utility to it, some interesting interactions. Will you largely use that? I don't know. I think Kabam are trying to get you to use a lot of champions that maybe you didn't want to do. I think that's what the purpose of the selector is for. But I think a lot of people are going to go in a different direction. But I don't know. What's your thoughts? Will you choose Black Panther as the Legend selector? And yeah, thanks very much for watching. Check out some other content located on the screen. And have a lovely day, whatever you're doing. Bye-bye.